Yep.
At number 8, Christian Moore, second baseman from the University of Tennessee, was unbelievable in Omaha when the Volunteers won the hit for the cycle. Really physical kid. Seems like he took a little bit of an underslot deal here at 8 to go to the Angels.
Yeah, and let's just get the Ohtani pick combo out of the way now, right? So the Angels, one of the teams we were interested in, okay, what would they do at 8? Would they take one of the consensus top 8, whether it was a Bryce Rayner, the high school shortstop, outfielder Braden Montgomery, who ends up flying to 12? And then what would they do with the last pick of the night, pick 74? And the questions of would the Angels take fast-moving players? And my sense was, what I kept saying in the monthly was, okay, the Angels, they just take quick to the big leagues guys. Now, in the past few years, it's like, okay, yeah, because they're trying to desperately help their big league team, win with Shohei Ohtani. They tried to do it last year. They rushed Nolan Chanyu up to the big leagues for that reason, and it did not work. It sort of worked with Neto to some degree, but whatever.
He's going to be a good big leaguer.
Yeah, I like Neto. It's fine. But I was like, well, why are rushing them to do what? Like, what?
To win 72 games?
Yeah, if that. Like, what is the hurry? Like, we just need to be taking the best players. Moore is kind of an interesting compromise between those two things, because there's definitely a version where he moves pretty quickly, but there are going to be some adjustments that he's probably going to have to make in pro ball to where it's hard to imagine him coming up that quickly. That said, their other two picks, Chris Cortez and Ryan Johnson, exactly fit the description of Cortez was already a reliever, one of the hardest starters in the draft. Johnson, a guy who had incredible numbers as a starter, but everything about him screams reliever. Both of those guys, I think, if you said needed to go get an out in the big leagues tomorrow, would be two of your first picks. Mm-hmm. Now, are we going to see these guys in the big leagues this year? Maybe. I don't know why you would do that. But like, honestly, the Angels are impossible to figure out. And like, if you're Perry and you probably aren't going to survive the season anyway.
Like, that's what's so weird about this.
I just don't understand how that draft dynamic works. I really, really don't.
Because their GM, Perry Minasian, is, if I had to pick guys least likely to have their job a year from now, the consensus is that's going to be Perry, right? Yeah. He's towards the top of that list. And so it's like you're drafting for a future that you won't be a part of.
Right.
Is just very odd and very bizarre.
So, I don't know. But anyway, pick 74. And Cortez, and again.
Love Cortez.
And that's the other thing, though, is, as everyone pointed out, leave it to the Angels. I assume you saw this. Christian Moore had a notable moment during Omaha where he said some choice words directed towards Chris Cortez when they played against them in Omaha. And now they're teammates. All right, have fun, guys. Okay. All that stuff is generally overblown. However, it is extremely Angels for this to happen. So
because there's no way they knew that. There's no way they knew that one of their draft picks called the other one, a BITCH. Yeah. All right, let's move forward. Yeah. At number 9, Connor Griffin.
Yeah.
Here's the deal with Connor Griffin. Outrageous athlete, like top of the charts, unbelievable athlete. Can he hit? Unclear. I am an amateur swing assessor. I watch Connor Griffin swing, and it looks weird. It looks pretty weird. Power is great. Speed's great. This is a pick where if he had gone to maybe a team with a better track record of developing hitters, I would feel better about it. The Pirates have not really shown an ability to do that. That's where my skepticism comes from. Best of luck to everybody involved.
Yeah. The thing about that is still probably a situation where there are enough people in the draft room that said, Connor Griffin at 9? This is a guy that has been considered the top player in the class for the last year. And I would guess that the scouts kind of just won out there. And we're just like, listen, we do not have the opportunity, especially in Pittsburgh. It's like we don't usually have the opportunity to acquire this kind of impact talent, but long way to go. And I have a feeling we will know pretty quickly, how that's going. Right. We will see. We will see.
This could be Bubba Starling. Mm-hmm. This could be Mike Trout. We don't know. It's probably somewhere in the middle. At number 10, the Nats, probably the most interesting draft last night. They take Seaver King, who I'm going to call a utility player and not in a slighting way, out of Wake Forest University. He's kind of an undersized guy. We talked to him at the Combine. He was very interesting, very nice. But kind of an under-slot move here. Probably save some money with Seaver King. And the idea there was maybe they could float someone to their picks later on.
Right, because they had acquired the extra pick. They trade Hunter Harvey over the weekend. I guess we haven't talked about that on the podcast. They trade Hunter Harvey to the Royals. They get a prospect in Caden Wallace, and they get the 39th pick. So if you're the Nats scouting department, you're like, oh, amazing. We got another pick on day one, the day before the draft starts, and we get another $2 million+ of pool money to play with. That's great.
Yeah.
And how they chose to use it was very interesting. Taking King at 10, passing up on a Bryce Rayner or a Braden Montgomery, taking Seaver King, who was projected more in the 15 to 20 range, and then taking Caleb Lomavita later, a catcher out of Cal. Both King and Lomavita extremely athletic, really fun to watch when they're rolling, very aggressive. They are not one to take their base. They're up there trying to swing. We will see how Nationals player development can help them. And their third pick, Luke Dickerson, a high school shortstop from New Jersey, who had a lot of buzz this spring. And I would guess, based on where these guys went, I think they still have one more considerably. I think they're going to have another 7-figure guy early on day 2. So we'll see